as a solution for resource and waste challenges for Cambodia. Thank you so much for joining today. We had the pleasure of the speakers here. Before I'd like to introduce myself, my name is Moeko Saito-Jensen. I'm a UNDP environmental policy specialist. I'm at the country focal point for circular economy initiatives. Welcome to all. Today we had the pleasure of a speaker from our National Council for Sustainable Development and also Ministry of Environment, also UNDP colleagues. And the first presentation will be done by Excellency Dr. Ngin Lina, Deputy Secretary General of the National Council for Sustainable Development. She will talk about the circular economy and also sustainable consumption production priority actions under these initiatives. And we have also representative from the Ministry of Environment, Mr. Sokharavuth, and then also Mr. Ngin, leading the solid waste management and also environmental protections initiatives. And I will make an also detailed introduction later on. And then so the Ministry of Environment, the representative will talk about what are the priority actions under plastic interventions led by Ministry of Environment and also National Council for Sustainable Development. And then we have a presentation from our UNDP colleagues. They have been leading the work to look at what kind of best practices there out there in the private sector. So they will talk about the challenges within the private sector to adapt circular economy initiatives and way forward. So with this note, I'd like to invite Excellency Dr. Lina, the Deputy Secretary General General Secretariat of the National Council for Sustainable Development. She has been leading as a chair of a sustainable consumption and production inter-ministerial working group. And she has been also leading the development of a national circular economy strategy and action plan. So we have a pleasure of having her and share what are the priority actions under sustainable consumption and circular economy. And the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Moeko. Presentation and participant. Today I'm really honored and delighted to join West Summit 2020, and also that I have a chance to present what is Ministry of Environment have been taking action for the sustainable consumption and production. I have a couple of slides. My slide is talking about the sustainable consumption and production, and also that highlighted with some priority action plan, and we'll also let you know some related with circular economy strategy and action plan that we just prepared. As you may know that Cambodia is has undergoing a rapid economic growth and coupled with population growth. This is the lead to surge of demand, national resources, and also that waste generation. So there are a lot of issues and challenges, especially in the urban area. We come up with this one and working with our partner. We try our best to prepare the waste roadmap, plastic roadmap, and also that looking back for the sustainable consumption and production. And especially recently, we are having the circular economy strategy and action plan. So based on our government strategy for the national development strategy, we Cambodia, the royal government of Cambodia, have committed to prepare some priority policy and action to reach the SDG. As you may know that to join the UN SDG goal, we have Cambodia, we have 18 goals. We have an additional one that for the mining. And among these SDG, SDG number 12 is one that we're talking about sustainable consumption and production. So also that from the Ministry of Environment have followed by the National Development Strategy and also prepare some our roadmap for the Ministry of Environment, and also prepare the what we call the Environment and National Resource Code of Code. I think code. Yeah, this is we come with the version. The last version is version 1.2, and in the code we have highlighted the promotion sustainable consumption and production. This is we have been stated in the chapter 1. You can see that in the section 1 that there are some highlighted the issue and the priority policy that we go to do for this manner. And also that sustainable procurement as well in the chapter 1, but they are highlighted in the section 2. Follow with the volunteering environmental labeling in the chapter 1 as well in section 3, and extended producer responsibility is in section 5, the same chapter. And to read this issue, we MME have worked with the partnership with academia, university, and researcher to do something like try our scientists, science and technology to and innovation to develop policy and any strategy. This is also that the kind of we try to conserve the biodiversity statistic that a very important one that as information to usefulness information for of ecological system. That provide recommendation for the policy development. And I think that all may know that what is SDG number 12, that this is ensuring sustainable consumption and production pattern. And to achieve this one, we work with relevant ministry, relevant development partner to develop a legal framework and any guideline, awarding or any certificate that focus on some activity that all people or even ministry that require to urgently reduce our ecological footprint by changing the way we produce consume goods and resources. And also that we need to be well management of our shared national resources usage and the way that we dispose of toxic waste and pollutant. And also that we do not forget that to encourage private sector, I mean that the industry, business and consumers to recycle and reduce waste equality is a very important one. And also that the Ministry of Environment, especially from CSD, we also have committed to achieve this SDG number 12 by creating inter-ministry working group in the podcast 0014 or 004 in recently July 2020. This is consists of 24 members from relevant ministry, and the chair of this working group is from Deputy Secretary General of NCSD, and they are a vice chair from ministry as well. And the Green Economy Department is a secretariat to facilitate and coordinate with other ministry to ensure that we have implement our work plan timely. And we have some goal or some GO that our working group is facilitate and advise on legal framework development, and also that trying to help the working group to develop something like guideline and policy and criteria for eco-labeling, and also that we create some mechanism for assessing to give eco-label to that product with consider on environment and serve the national resources. And also that very important one that we need to facilitate to develop the policy and strategy and roadmap for ICP program. And now currently we are developing a roadmap, and there are some priority action that we're gonna to do is one is a circular economy and action plan. It's, we are come with the final one, and I hope that we launch this strategy in early of 2021. And then that ICP roadmap now we being developing, and I think that some of you may join us for the national consultation on 12th November next week. And also that we are preparing the guideline for the green public procurement, and another one is the criteria for eco-labeling. So this is the one that we commit to achieve our SDG 12 as well is, as I mentioned, is ICP and circular economy. You may know that circular economy is one of the key important role that in the SD number 12. This is, we have some activity for the public awareness and communication by developing education material, media, and capacity building, and work close with the subnational level for the understanding the issue, and create some business model at the community. And also that we project showcase. Working with the private sector is a very important one that we are in. I think that our colleague here will be share some related with the private sector policy, and that we encourage that the private sector or manufacturing to thinking about that how we share the good practice and promote sustainability. So this is a very important one that I think that we need to be aware, and I just let you know that in Cambodia, or those that the word linear economy and circular economy is new, but it is not new because some activities, some priority action plan already been implemented, like now the circular economy developed, and other strategy like sustainable city, green building, and sustainable energy. We have launching already, have printing and launching already. So this is just mentioned that how different with linear economy and economy and circular economy. This is the linear economy is a kind of traditional model, mean that take and make and dispose pattern of production and consumption. It means that the way that we use raw material is are collected and then transformed into the product that we are used until they are finally discarded as a waste. So different from that circular economy, this is approach that can be applied to national resource management and smart city management, transportation and construction, manufacturing, and other waste management. So what we are doing, this is we very considering for the 4O. I think that is a very principle. I hope that our colleague from solid waste management will be share some issue related with that solid waste management. So this is a lot of benefit that being developed the circular economy. like I mentioned earlier, that the environment and public health benefit will the one that the important one we have been set in our circular economy strategy. That is why adoption of circular economy model can be significantly reduced. One is the use of natural resources and energy, and second is the greenhouse gas emission and air and water pollution, and another one is waste generation and public health risk. So this is one that related with environment and human health, and another one that circular economy also benefit to economy as well. This is improved efficiency in material use and energy, can be reduced cost and production and increase of the competitiveness of the business as well. Another one is a circular economy can also generate a new economic value and employment in the reuse, recycle, and manufacturing and repair, etc. So how we promote the circular economy. So there are some key actions being taken by the NCSD and MOE to promote a circular economy. Like one is we have established the International Working Group for the Sustainable Consumption and Production in July 2020. I'm sorry, not September. And also that the development of the draft circular economy that we have mentioned, develop of transnational. Develop a plastic action plan and roadmap, and also that new regulation on a single-use plastic development, and also the private sector guidelines and policy. So there are some policy and strategy development. We have been defined the vision and mission as for the circular economy. The vision is Cambodia developed toward a circular economy with still to achieve prosperous economy and striving the inclusive society and healthy environment. And our mission is to create an enabling environment for public and private sector, academia, civil society, and development partner to drive the economic, social, and environmental transformation required to rely on a circular economy. So this is from our policy and strategy. We have 5 strategy objectives, and this is very far, I cannot read that one. The first one that the strategy objective number 1 is increase efficient use of raw material and promote sustainable design, promotion, manufacturing, and distribution. And strategic objective number 2 is promote sustainable consumption and effective use and repair. And number 3 is enhance waste collection and recycling. Fourth one is ensure effective management of residual waste. And the last one is enhance cross-cutting stakeholder engagement, awareness, and capacity building. So what we are doing for that to reduce the waste here in Cambodia, the same, I think that it is the same to other countries. We are very thinking from the top to the bottom up. That the top is country, the big one, and so the final one, the disposal is very little. So start from the waste prevention, reuse and repair, recycling, and energy recovery. Finally, it's disposal. And we try to do one by one. What is that we do with the raw material? That the first, that we need to be resilient toward the climate change and strengthen the sustainable national resource management and biodiversity conservation. And also that promote sustainable energy and materials. And the second one, this is related with promote solar and energy efficiency. that we have been done, have been developed the strategy already, and improve production efficiency, and another one, reduce single-use and product. That is, we very focus on the plastic material. Create and recycling maker and EPR, extended producer responsibility. And also that the third one, increase low emission commercial vehicle use. This is also that from NCSD we are in discussing and preparing vehicle that to help to reduce emission. And also promote the green and sustainable packing and distribution. And the fourth one, that this promotes sustainable consumption and reduce the use of single-use plastic, and promote the reuse and repair. And the last one is ensure efficiency waste collection. And this is we are in working with the subnational level by using some scoping study by Asia Foundation as well as by UNDP. We found some issue and some suitable mechanism or policy option that can work with the subnational level. And we are being work with several selected cities in upcoming project. And another one, promote the waste, promote the waste segregation, recycling and composting. This is plastic and organic waste that must be considered, and we are being discussed with other partners, especially social or what we call NGO, some NGO who work now with the household community that to consider how to do the waste separation and composing. And also improve the landfill and management and operation. This is the one that from our colleague solid waste medicine, I think that they will share. And also that with our minister speak at the opening speak, he also mentioned about that restructure and improve the mechanism and for the waste collection. Support the waste to energy, and this is the youth one, and being discussion, and they are we have department of science and technology being discussed with other development partner, especially private sector. So this is all that issue that we have to work is we need of course that join hand to hand together, not just only government take responsible on that, but we need our development partner as well as private sector. So this is my end presentation, and I think that we need any question, please, yeah, and ask us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for very informative presentation about circular economy and sustainable consumption production. Your presentation also highlighted how these the SCP and the circular economy are interlinked. And you also highlighted among the slide that the importance of waste management and waste hierarchy. In the case of the Cambodia, that the volume of waste increased more than 5 times within the 10 years. And if you look at the composition of the municipal waste, 50% of the waste is organic and 20% is plastic. So the plastic has become the important issues, the challenge that Cambodia has come to also focus on. So next presentations we will have the pleasure of having the representative from Ministry of Environment, Mr. Pak Sokharavuth, the General Director, Deputy Director General, General Directorate of Environmental Protection from the Ministry of Environment. Mr. Pak has been working for Ministry of Environment for more than 30 years in the field of pollution control. At present, he's responsible for Montreal Protocol of substances that deplete ozone layers, and he's also overseeing the Department Hazardous Substance Management and Solid Waste Management. We also have a pleasure of having his colleague, Mr. D. Keeler. He's the head of the Solid Waste Management Department of the Ministry of Environment. So he's also overseeing that plastic, also other solid waste management here in Cambodia. So we also get to hear that the most updated information about what the interventions that the Ministry of Environment, also National Council for Sustainable Development has been leading. Thank you very much. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. So during the World Summit today, I would like to do one presentation taking the plastic waste in Cambodia. As you may know, so that every year around 8 million tons of plastic have been reached the ocean. So if we talk about the equivalent is maybe a full garbage truck every minute. As you may know that for the plastic, if goes to the ocean, it can be very dangerous and kill marine life. For example, as you see, is if the take long time into the ocean, so that the plastic become microplastic and affect to the food for the fish and return back to human, so that can be affect to human health also after some time in the ocean. This one is discharged so that the Mekong River in Cambodia. Actually, it's not in Cambodia because Mekong River have been goes through from China, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and finally will go to our sea. So that the Mekong River also most one of the top 10 that carry the plastic into the ocean. So we just talked that the impact of the plastic waste in Cambodia. So in consumption and disposal of single-use plastic in Cambodia, around 20% of municipal waste is in plastic. So as you may also understand, and you may know that the burning of the plastic waste is a common use also in Cambodia, but the common practice is not good for the health because it pollute to environment, also pollute to the air and soil quality, release the dioxin and furan into the air. And only less than 1% of the plastic is have been formally recycling because there are only small scale of industry have been implemented or have been located in Cambodia. No large scale recycling industry yet. So due to the highly demanding impact of the marine plastic pollution, with the estimated cost of cleaning ocean plastic to Cambodia around 2.5 million a year. So 80% of the debris on beach is plastic. As you may see that some research found that a cigarette, plastic food wrapper, and plastic bag, etc. Fishing gear is one of the major problem also. And the people, the fisher that after they cannot use the fishing gear, so that they just cut it off into the sea, so that causing marine plastic pollution. And many mammals also, like fish and bird, also suffer from the ingesting the plastic. In order to respond to this, the draft plastic roadmap focus on the following plastic have been drafted in the common fund of plastic in the river, canal, and beach in Cambodia. That including plastic bag, plastic straw and drinks stirrer, styrofoam, expanded polystyrene, and also plastic bottle, in a plastic bottle, sorry. So this one is the common found plastic item in Cambodia, like crisp, like a crisp package, sweet wrapper, shopping bag, piece, straw and stirrer, and cup and cup lid, drinking bottle that mostly is below equal below 0.5 liter, and polystyrene piece that the thin between 2.5 centimeter to 50 centimeter, and plastic cap and lid, cutlery and tray, cigarette butt and filter, and also string and cord. That, but the most one is the crisp package and sweet wrapper. So under supporting from Sweden, Zurich, UNDP, and the World Bank, so that Ministry of Environment and NCSD have been work together to develop some like a sample that step in the 5 ways that one diffuse, the second one reduce, the third one is reduce and replace and recycle, and the 5th one is remind. So that the first one that we encourage the people when they go to the supermarket or the other shop, they refuse to use the plastic bag or plastic bottle. Right now, in a public building, especially at the Ministry of Environment, I think UNDP also have been promoted not to use single plastic in the building. So every meeting we have used glass and the water like jar that to use to refill the water in the glass. So that reduce, it means that at the Ministry of Environment also now we install the water dispenser and use eco bag for using in the building. And reuse, replace, so the reusable bottles, we would like to reusable bottle like cup, bag, food container, and straw, like Bombay or stainless. At Cambodia, as my minister have been encouraged the people that they bring the food from home, so that my minister have been provide like stainless steel food pot, that container that we kind of bring the food from home, no more plastic. That, for recycling, so that dispose of plastic waste into the recycling bin. This one have been discussed, and we will try in some modeling place in Phnom Penh. Mostly we will implement like in hotel. We call Borai, but I don't know in English. Like the place that a lot of the building there, like Pinewood, New World, House Builder, that we would like to promote. That we first start with some that easy, because in some place we cannot put refuse bin like street like that, but the other place like Borai and also hotel and also like condominium, yeah, we can implement this one. So that this one, the 4K strategy of the MOE and CSD have been now prepared and developed, so that we would like to raise awareness on the environmental education campaigns that involving with environmental education and also awareness raising material, and we need to do some campaign regarding this matter. The second one is we have to develop policy and legislation on single-use plastic and promote alternative. This one will be comment and control, and also we would like to give the economy incentive and for the alternative and recycling. This one we have it discussed with, because in Cambodia, this one is the policy for small scale in Cambodia, because recycling, mostly in small scale as my previous presentation, so that we consider that we will discuss with the Ministry of Economic and Finance on the incentive like import of the alternative product. And also we would like to give some incentive to the industry, maybe like reduce the cost of the electricity, maybe for the tax incentive also for the small and medium enterprise that they do with the recycling of plastic bag. Number 3, improve overall waste management practice and promote recycling and waste to energy option. So this is why we need to deal with like innovation of acceleration of the new police practice for all, and promoting of plastic recycling and reduction of the consumption and use adoption of the alternative. And also we would like to have like promote of the plastic recycling. As I mentioned earlier, we would like to promote recycling. We would like to reduce the cost of the electricity for the medium enterprise, small enterprise, and also maybe consider for the tax consumption, so that we need to discuss with the Ministry of Economy and Finance, especially for the General Department of Tax and Revenue, and also General Department of Customs and Excise. Number 4, we would like to build a strategic coalition, so that we need to have like some partner to work together to reduction and recycling of the plastic waste in the country. This one, I think I have mentioned that so that we have to consider what is the pollution from the waste, and what is the plastic have been affect to marine life, and also after that return back to human health effects. So that we need to implement the 5 steps that we have been like introduced, like reduce the plastic bag and recycling. So that this one, and we have been like under the supporting from UNDP, we have one concert on the waste management and also plastic bag management. Regarding the number 2, we develop policy and regulation on the single-use plastic and promote alternative. Actually, right now, the government of Cambodia have been adopted to some degree number 168 on the management of plastic bag in 2018. And this one has been mandated that the importation of the plastic bag have to be limit and depend on the sin of the plastic, because we don't want to import the sick one that difficult to degrade it into environment. And we will develop the national plastic action plan and roadmap under the drafting, and also the regulation on the plastic management, including the single use of plastic also in the drafting. This picture just we promote some alternative, like use the bamboo, metal, and some other like tree that for the straw. Actually, if we thinking about the traditional use, actually we don't need to use this one. We just drink like that. Also the best way, but unless we have the alternative that for the people they still would like to use the straw. This one, I think, Excellency Lina have also just introduced her previous presentation on the waste prevention, reuse and repair, recycling, energy recovery, so that at last for the disposal, after we do 4 steps above, so that at the disposal side will be very less. Only maybe around 10%. I will do the next presentation that show you on this. As you see this one, regarding to the improvement of all waste management practice and also diverting the plastic from landfill, so that if the plastic can be recycling, so that we will go to number 2, and we bring to number 3 for the plastic and that can be recycled, and to the number 4 can be cleaned up, and number 5 go to the to a new product that we can use, like the t-shirt and other product that can be usable. And for the plastic, it cannot be recycling, so it will go to the incinerator. The incinerator will be produce energy, turning like non-recycling plastic into the energy, so that it can be burning and become like 90% of plastic will be burned. Only 10% is only ash that put into the landfill. So this one also one part is recycling and one part it cannot recycle. We will produce energy and will some for the landfill, but be less, so that we can save also the G of the landfill. But for example, it's a 90% has been you know, it's the big burn, and only 10%. So that is, for example, is 10 years, so that it can be 100 years for the landfill or 90 years for the landfill, because of only 10% put on the landfill. This one is regarding for the number 4, the building strategic coalition, that so the government have to draft the policy, strategy, and regulation, and we need the school and university, development partner and NGO, business, private sector, and the user like citizen, and also celebrity and staff have to work together and to implement together in order to success of the plastic pollution and plastic management in Cambodia. So we would like to keep the city, the country is green and clean all the way. So that we hope that all that what I have been present is can be like good for you, and maybe you can have some comment or maybe question. We would like to respond to you and appreciate it. And thank you very much for your time to attention for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pak, for a very comprehensive presentation about plastic interventions. Your presentation highlighted the enormous challenge that Cambodia faces in tackling plastic waste, which is rapidly increasing, and highlighted the importance of awareness raising and regulations, and also the proper waste management and strategic coalition. And one of the strategic coalitions part, the focus on the private sector. The private sector has an important role in driving innovations and accelerating investment to shift from a linear to circular economy, and also to shift their business model not to use the single-use plastic, but less plastic. So now I'd like to, I also noted that there are many questions now coming to your presentation. So after all the presentation, I will read out the comments, and then we have a question answer session. So I'd like to invite the Mr. Federico and also Ms. Anika, the international consultant for UNDP Cambodia. So they have been leading the work on the private sector platform. So they have been consolidating, also like doing a lot of interviews with different private sectors, and they're asking the question, what kind of challenges they face in transition from linear economy model to a circular economy model? What kind of best practices that we can see almost replicate and scale up within the private sector? So they will talk about the challenges and also opportunities that are led by the private sector to transition to a circular economy in Cambodia. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, good morning to everyone, Your Excellencies, and everyone also like attending the conference. And yes, and I'm glad today to be here with you to present the work that we've been doing together for the development of the Circular Economy Leaders Platform. As the ultimate goal of this platform is to bring businesses together to build a circular economy in Cambodia. As was mentioned already in previous presentations, Cambodia has seen great growing economy in the past years, and together with the growing economy also an increase in populations, and these of course has many positive benefits, and together with that also Cambodia has seen at the same time an increase in the use of material and natural resources, and therefore also an increase in energy consumption and waste generation from this use. So the transition from what is a linear economic model to a more circular one actually can reduce the exploitation of natural resources and also generate economic value. And in this picture, private sector can actually play a pivotal role and act as a driving force to the transition for a circular economy. And still anyway, there are challenges that businesses are facing today. And among these challenges, we see, for example, that the knowledge about what are best practices or how to implement these best practices related to circular economy is often fragmented and sometimes difficult to find, and time consuming. At the same time, solutions need to somehow be customized for a Cambodian context, and very often there are limited solutions that fit the environment and can be scaled. Finally, some very often businesses experience limited interaction among different actors, and this is also affecting the visibility that businesses can receive by the implementation and adoption of circular economy practices. So this platform, the Private Sector Circular Economy Leaders Platform, has actually the goal of supporting these businesses to overcome this challenge. The main objective is definitely knowledge sharing. So promoting knowledge sharing about what are the circular economy practices that can be adopted and implemented in different sectors, and creating what can be a common virtual place for different actors to access this knowledge. So having a centralized database of knowledge in relation to all best practices and focusing on different sectors. And ultimately, like promoting what is networking. So most of the time, businesses cannot reach full adoption of circular economy practices without interacting with other actors in the ecosystem. And promoting this interaction is also key. And this is what we want to give as an opportunity through this platform as well. So now I would like actually to hand it over to my colleague Anika, who will give you some more information about specific characteristics of the platform. Thank you.
Thanks, Federico, and good morning, everyone. I will be sharing with you today a brief idea of what the platform will include to start off with, and also the future potential of this platform. So as Federico mentioned earlier, one of the main goals of building this platform is really to have it act as a centralized database to bring together existing circular economy databases out there and resources into a single location. As Excellency Lina mentioned earlier, the concept of a circular economy is quite new, but there are a lot of initiatives already happening here at the grassroots level. And so the first focus of the platform is really to help businesses understand what a circular economy is and what initiatives fall under that title. And secondly, there are a lot of great websites and apps that already exist in Cambodia for both consumers and for businesses to green their business or to green their consumption habits as well. But we want to have this platform really act as a place for channeling people to these other platforms. So instead of duplicating those efforts, we want to have the platform raise the profile of existing databases that are already out there to support businesses and consumers as well. And you saw earlier the poster that exists for the 4 Rs, and resources like this will also be included on the platform, so to bring together existing resources and databases in Cambodia. And the second area of focus for the platform is on the visibility of best practices. So we will have a section there that highlights blog articles that really dive deeply into how different businesses are implementing circular economy practices in what they do. And that will give a place to not only really spotlight these businesses that are doing great work, but also to help other businesses learn from their experiences. And finally, the platform will also include newer resources. So we're developing easy to follow guides that businesses from different sectors can follow. So these might include 5 steps to sorting waste in your business, 10 steps for your hotel to decrease its plastic waste, resources that are really easy for businesses to follow of any size, and some practices in that are also cost effective for businesses and don't involve a great deal of change to begin with, so to act as a stepping stone. And those we will continue to develop along the way. And in terms of the future potential for the platform, obviously incentives are really important to encourage businesses to make this transition. So we want to look into how we can integrate the work done by the Department of Awards and Incentives into the platform itself, and also how we can really offer more in-depth transition guides on a sector-by-sector basis. So to really build on that work of the easy-to-follow guides, we also hope that the platform can eventually offer these more in-depth guides for businesses as well. And finally, to tackle the challenge of networking for businesses, this is something we've already initiated in developing the platform, is how we have it act to provide matchmaking support for businesses. So how we connect businesses to others that can support in terms of consulting services, in terms of offering alternatives to plastic packaging, for example. And that's something that we hope we can continue to sort of evolve as time goes on with the platform as well. So the development and the future for it, I think, there are a lot of opportunities here, and these will continue to grow as we continue to discuss with Excellency Lina and Emily at CSD, and also to discuss with businesses still as we go to really learn their challenges and what they could find helpful from this platform as we continue. So, thank you so much, everyone, and looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Anika and Federico, for a very informative presentation about climate dissect platform, and then we are working with also the Ministry of Environment and National Council for Sustainable Development, and to operationalize this platform very soon. And also we are working with a range of other stakeholders and the World Bank, and then also other players in this field. So we're looking forward to further collaboration on this issue. I see a lot of questions are in the comments, so maybe I will go through the question, and then I will ask the relevant speakers to answer the question. Some of the questions seems very challenging, but let's see. Yes, so from the Sokharavuth in Cambodia, how many percentage of plastic has flown into the rivers and sea? What kinds of plastic waste and from which sources? Household, industries, and agriculture. May I ask Mr. Park to answer the question?
Actually, thank you for your question. Actually, we still not identify yet how many the percentage of the plastic that fall into the river or into the sea, because right now we under cooperation with can be called under cooperation with the local government, under supported from UNDP, World Bank, research and study on this, how many percentage can be loaded into the river or the canal or in the beach in Cambodia. That's my list.
Thank you. Then the next question, recycle waste. I guess it's for Mr. Tikiden. So I will read out. Recycle waste is needed to achieve the sustainable development. What has Cambodian government done in terms of recycling the waste? How much is being recycled now?
As you may know that, firstly I want to talk about the combustion of the waste as Mrs. Moeko stated earlier at the beginning of the start of the event, that the waste in Cambodia, the combustion is around 60% is organic waste, and plastic waste is around 20%, and the recycling for the plastic waste is around 1%. But anyway, there's we would see that in Cambodia we have a recycling activity, but most of them is it's a family business. It's not official one. It's a non-system business. So actually we are trying to collect all the information about the private sector that involving in the recycling activity, and so that we can find a way to set up the strategy to get them more officially, formally, and then to like Excellency Lina said. So we want to transfer from linear economy to circular economy. And actually, related to the recycling, specifically for plastic, we used to set up the to take in place the sub-degree on the plastic waste management. So in that we have set the measure that for the recycling of the plastic waste, we will encourage in terms of the excise tax is under responsibility of the royal government in Cambodia. In this case, I would confirm that all the plastic product that imported or produced in Cambodia, they beside the other tax, it has another excise tax. So, but for the recycling, out plastic waste and then produce to material or something like that. So the excise tax will be under responsibility of the royal government of Cambodia. So that's one of the encouragement. And then we will try to find a way that how to encourage them, how to give them some incentive or something like that to how to foster this kind of activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very informative answer. The next question, may I ask Excellency Dr. Lina? So it says, since before until now, does Cambodia's government have drafted any policies or key strategy on marine plastic pollution in Cambodia? Are there any studies on the downstream impacts? If it exists, what are they?
Okay, thank you for the question. Related that question related to marine plastic or marine waste, I think that we are in partnership with UNDP and World Bank. Now is we do some scoping study, and I think that results coming soon. And as the cycle of the source of waste, like Mr. Sokharavuth present, this is a lot of waste will go to the sea by river, especially Moeko river. But it's not Cambodia. All the waste is from Cambodia. This is belong to the country living along the country. I think the 5 countries belonging, and this is the one that we being study that one and formulate some preventive action to cope or prevent all the marine waste. And as I mentioned earlier, that we now are working and consulting with the subnational law, like the selected for city already in Siem Reap and Kampong Sao, Kat and Phnom Penh, and another one is Kampot. So this is one that just let you know that we are in action taking and will formulate the action plan for implementing in a couple of months, next couple of months.
Okay, thank you so much, Excellency. So for next one about the raising awareness, I will read out fast. So for raising awareness, the real example villagers living along the Kampot River still throw their rubbish, including a lot of plastic bottle next to the river. They said that flooding during rainy season will collect it all to the sea, and they have no more rubbish around their homes. Does the Ministry of Environment have any plastic campaign there for people living along the river in Kampot? Who would like to answer the question?
Actually, in every province, not only Kampot, so that we have like public campaign many times during the World World Environmental Day, or maybe other day. We have a lot of campaign that regarding to the not only plastic, but all waste, that we would like to keep the city clean and green, so that especially the people that are along the canal, or here she mentioned that on this, that we have been conduct mainly not only one time, many times, and under cooperation with the UNDP, also with other projects also. We have been conduct like the training for the training for the local community, like to develop that the waste that the collecting time that to prevent the waste loaded into the canal and will go to the sea. But you know, of course, during the flooding time, we cannot avoid, because sometimes the flooding is we cannot predict it. Sometimes just come very fast, so that sometimes the collecting companies are not come yet, but the rain is come and the flood is to come, so that we cannot avoid. but we try our, I think, our best because we have subdegree 113. Yeah, we have subdegree 113. We have been provide, the government have been support fund, support also equipment, also the knowledge. So we have been last year we have been training for all the district and city governor to come together and beside by my minister that we would like to combat the plastic especially and for all the waste management to keep the country is clean and green, the city, the district clean and green. And yesterday also my minister during the annual conference so that he also mentioned we have to work hard to make sure that all the street, all the district, all everywhere in the country should be clean, no rubbish. So that we right now we have to work hard, and I think my colleague, my minister called for the meeting also on this matter. After this meeting, and also tomorrow, we will find that some solution and some strategy and some plan, and who will be responsible and who will be coordinated with the district, with the commune, and how to make it the city, the state, the country is clean, no rubbish.
It's wonderful to hear. I also take the opportunity to also inform that together with the Ministry of Environment, also National Council for Sustainable Development, UNDP is going to launch a new project, focusing on marine plastic pollution. And then one of the activities that the focusing on is awareness raising, targeted at the coastal cities, the areas. So that also involves the camp, and coral, and then so we also understand that many people just throw the rubbish to canals and rivers, and that may go to the ocean. And that raising awareness among the citizens and business not to throw away rubbish is a very important step towards protecting the marine lives in the future. So we are looking forward to working together with also the government, also stakeholders, and also the donor from the Embassy of Japan for this project. Yes, then moving to, sorry. This one. It's economic incentive for circular economy initiatives. So, Excellency Dr. Lina, could you talk more about economic incentive for circular economy initiative, including waste to energy? Have these attracted waste to energy actors already?
Yes, thank you for the question. This is a very important one that, as I have mentioned in my earlier presentation, that this is very important that we have to convert from the linear economy to circular economy. The circular economy not just benefit to the environment or human health, but also that benefit to economy. Like I mentioned, that this is will improve the efficiency in material use, and energy can reduce the cost, and also that production and increase the competitiveness of business, for example, is what we call raw material and security and supply in the future, and also that the circular economy can generate the value of the employment that, as you see in any document from other countries, especially Asian countries, that is safe and effective to the labor, a lot of labor if you apply for circular economy. And this is by reuse and recycling, and also manufacturing that can repair the system as well. So in Cambodia, there are some private sector company already convert waste to energy. Like I think that yesterday the presentation from Chikmon. They already shared that some experience and good practice that they convert the waste to energy, and also that we went to see the Thailand chat. We can see that some small, but also that the good practice as well, that they convert the used oil convert to energy as well. So this is good that we can learn, and I think that from our EPA will now is in discussion as well how to convert waste to energy. And also that we have another department was science and technology, and they work with close with the company and private sector to consider and formulate any policy and regulation for the waste to energy.
Thank you. I want to add some information about this. Well, regarding this, if we want to promote, we want to go forward to the circular economy. Incentive is very important in this kind of. I would say that it's the key that we can move to the circular economy. In this year, Excellency Minister of the Environment, he tried to give the initiative to promote the private sector to involve in recycling out the waste in Cambodia. We have a many meeting with the private sector that do the activity in recycling, and then to find what is their challenge and something like that. So we just try to negotiate with the we just discuss with the EDC about the price of the electricity, because the recycling activity they need a lot of more power. So their challenge is that if the price of electricity is high, so their production is will affect the production, and then they cannot challenge with other. So we discuss about to decrease the price of electricity. Maybe, for example, if they do the business, do the production chain during the night time, so the electricity price will be less than the normal price. And that's another thing. And if we're talking about the waste to energy, of course, we really need incentive. That we can say that we can easily talk that tipping fee. So, or maybe by selling electricity in a high price, more than the price that they buy from the other source. So my minister already discussed with the EDC, and then he said that they have a commitment or willing to cooperate with us. So maybe the price of electricity from the waste to energy plant, they can buy in a higher price than other source, but with some limit. Maybe it's not as much as we want, but there be some limit. At least it's higher than the source of power plant. And so maybe we still need to increase something like that. So, but the study we have to, for us, we have to more survey and more study about that, between that investing in waste to energy and investing in landfill, which one is more economically. Of course, waste to energy, we need not need much piece of land, but sometimes we have to think about in terms of economically. And another, yes, this is.
I just add a little bit. Actually, if everything is regarding to environment, for example, if incinerator, waste to energy, so that I just add to my colleague that and Dr. Lina that for the investment project like that, all the equipment import will be the tax under the government responsible, because this one is keep the environment clean, and so that the government give incentive that no tax for the importation of the machinery, the installation, but this one, and also as my colleague also consider for the CDC, they see that also the cost of the lifting will my Mr. Yeah, willing very much to have this one and discuss with the agency and how to fly with the price, how to compromise with the price of the electricity. Yeah, just add that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. There are some related questions, so I will bundle together. So we are talking about the waste to the energy. And there is also a question about tipping fee, the gate fee. So that other countries, example, like in order to promote the recycling, also that waste to energy businesses, they set the tipping fee very high so that the waste can be diverted from landfill to waste to energy or recycling. Does the government consider that this the incentive to be incorporated in the future? And also, there's some question about waste incinerators. So there are also several waste incinerators in provinces Kampong, Thom, Siem Reap, Batten, Minh Chê. Is there energy recovery planned from these incinerators? And another question about the emission to air pollution. These the incinerators will test their monitors and control. So, 3 questions. May I again?
Actually, incinerator we need to have like a big amount of waste, at least like 3,000 tons per day for the full production, because a small incinerator is not good to reduce the to reduce the air into the air, because because the emission can be like not full combustion. But for the big incinerator like 6,000 tons per day, they can afford, so that the release of dioxin may be low after the combustion more than 1,000 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that my response, but that may be my colleague on the Lina can respond.
Yeah, when talking about the incinerator, for the incinerator that installed by the Ministry of Environment, we don't have such kind of energy recovery. As we can see that for the incinerator that have energy recovery and waste to energy, so we have more tipping fees. Generally, we can say that burning waste and to get the energy, we have to pay more. I mean, it's not the cost that the cost for is not it's not preparable. So that's why we just we don't do so. We just burn it out. And then, like Mr. Sokharavuth already mentioned, that for the waste to energy, we need more amount of waste. And this kind of, we can say that mobile or small incinerator is less than 5 tons per day, something like that. And I would to confirm that this kind of installation of the small incinerator is just intervention for the transitional period of reforming, I would say that reforming waste management system. So it's not for the long term of solid waste management in Cambodia. So like you can see that if you travel some part of Cambodia, you can see the waste along the road or something like that. So this kind of transitional period, we just try to collect all of the waste and then bring it out, and then we will move another step. You know? So yes, of course, for this kind of the product that meets some here. And this kind of product, I mean, this kind of mobile incinerator is used in Thailand and Vietnam also. And our requirement that the temperature of burning is a little bit high, maybe more than 700 degrees, something like that. and then they have to install some filtration, but it's not standard one, but at least they can decrease the reduce the gas. Thank you.
Two remaining questions. Thank you so much. Two remaining questions. So we talk a lot about plastic waste. What about glass bottle? Is there any plan for glass bottle recycling? That's one question.
Glass bottle. We trying to do so in Syria. There's one project.
We already mentioned so many times by our leaders that how we can solve this problem. This is one that we need to work with the private sector and business company to consider on that to return the bottle to the shop. And this is we need more study, more conduct assessment how we how work well and how it's not well. Because sometimes it's very difficult to design the project or create any issue that to put to the people. We need more more public awareness to people understanding on to use this one. And also that we need to work with the private sector, and is to encourage the private sector to work and join with us to formulate any policy to work with that one. So we just initiative to discussing and assessing information from other people.
And we set up in our work plan that we will focus also on the EPR, like Excellency Ngin has said earlier, that extended producer responsibility, that mostly on this kind of packaging. Like for the metal, for aluminum can or something like that, it's not a big problem, not a problem. But for the glass bottle or something like that, so they have to be responsible for collecting and this kind of waste. So we are on the way working on that.
And then one that we need to promote the local recycling. This is very important one because we cannot like transfer or the recycle glass bottle to all the country, but we need the local one that to recycling this one.
It's great to hear that the government is considering the extended producer responsibilities and as a way to promote recycling and responsible business. The questions, the last one is that the awareness raising is important but not enough. There must be some penalty for throwing waste in the public. That's the Ministry of Environment have planned to have such penalty.
Of course. In fact, based on the subdegree 113, the subdegree on municipal solid waste management, we have such kind of joint program about the penalty. But as you may see that the implementation of this kind of legal document, we have to look a bit more deeply in the situation of our city, our current situation. If we want to penalty, strictly penalty to those kind of waste thrower or something like that, we have to have a proper waste collection system in place. I mean, then from waste collection, installing a rubbish bin and so on. So we have to set up those kind of system in place, a proper one. And that's easy for this. When after we have a proper waste collection system, so the taking place of the penalty is very easy, and then there's no negative complaint. There's no complaint to us. In fact, I think that in Phnom Penh they start to do so, especially in some area like Riverside, and then in front of the Riyadh Place, something like that. They used to do penalty, something like that. But it's not, how can I say, it's not really worldwide in the throughout the city. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you and Federico, Anika, the last question. So this is the last question. Yes. So you are looking at the target sectors that can introduce the CE practices, like for example, hospitalities and restaurants. What kind of key action you think that they can take already to transition towards a CE practice? I also see another final question, so maybe I will also put in the question too. How do you think the informal waste speakers can be involved in the new business model?
Yeah. Thank you, Moeko, for the question that was there. So yes, hospitality sector. There are actually many practices that the private sector, the hospitality sector is already implementing in Cambodia. And this goes from like very different waste streams. So if we think about biomass, for example, like, or organic wastes for composting or energy efficiency, some businesses are already implementing solar energy, adopting solar energy, renewable energy, and also then going to plastic and plastic reduction. Many practices have already been implemented, and the goal now is to scale them as well to way more businesses. Among these practices, we see, for example, as was mentioned also as a suggestion before in other presentation, the alternatives to plastic straw, for example, that can be from no using a straw at all to different materials for plastic straw, or from plastic bottles to what is glass bottles, so be able to reuse it more and more, and also packaging. So when it comes to food delivery or takeaway foods, many businesses have already switched from plastic packaging to a compostable and biodegradable one. So many things have already been done, and the question on the waste speakers, well, I think the waste speaker somehow and the informal collection system is somehow already involved. So waste speaker already play a role in the collection of waste in the city. And I think that keeping them involved is extremely useful and extremely important. And what businesses can do in terms of like keeping this connection and engagement with the waste speaker is, for example, like sorting out the waste and preparing it for the waste speaker to collect it. So somehow to start from this informal collection system to then go to a more formal one maybe, but still helping them to sort out the waste and to make it ready for them to collect it can be like something, a good practice from businesses. I don't know if you want to add something about it.
Right. I think I would just add briefly to that in terms of engaging informal waste collectors. I think that from our dialogues with a lot of businesses too, there's a lack of awareness sometimes in terms of who actually collects the waste that their products generate in the end. So I think that awareness raising also comes into play there for businesses and how we engage them to help them understand who's actually collecting their waste when their product comes to the end of its lifespan.
Wonderful. So actually the success of a circular economy model in other countries dependent on the formal engagement of the informal waste speakers. So we, under circular economy strategy action plan, we are also looking at the ways to engage the informal waste speakers. So thank you very much. So there's the afternoon sessions, we go deep dive into what private sector can do, what citizen can do, what the hospitalities they can do, like to transition to circular economy. So I hope that you can also join the afternoon sessions. I would like to thank you and the participants and also speakers for sharing insight into a circular economy and plastic waste, and then also the business, the platform, private sector platform. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.